next match.
Thank you very much, Dan. Always great to hear from SilentStorm, the Season 1 champ. I'm OzmoQD, joined by Chalky and, of course, Life Coach, fresh off his victory in Group D. How you feeling, Life Coach?
Yeah, good so far.
Good?
Of course, right.
Of course, yeah. Making it out in the group first place. So what do you think of SilentStorm saying, preparing is for tryhards? Are you a tryhard, Life Coach?
Yeah, definitely I am, 100%. I mean, it was also funny because, like, I've been talking to SilentStorm, like, 2 matches ago, and, like, when it was clear, like, that the red will be his next opponent, I was like, hey, I mean, actually, like, your decks are pretty great against the red. Don't worry, like, because he was worrying a little bit, and I was like, yeah, your decks are pretty great against the red decks, like, what does his Patron Warrior actually do against your decks? And he was like, what? He's playing Patron Warrior? And I was like, yeah, of course. I mean, everybody knows that. And he was like, oh, no, I don't do the preparation. And I was like, yeah, what? Like, for this tournament, I mean, it's one of the most important tournaments. I mean, how can you not do the preparation? But it seems to work for him. So, I mean, everybody is different, I guess.
Yeah. Proud to be a tryhard. And the next matchup is actually going to be a rematch between SilentStorm and Phonetap. They played off-stream earlier on in one of the first matches of the group, and Phonetap took that 3-2. So it was a really close series. Yeah. And both of these players seem to be on pretty equal footing. Chalky, what are your thoughts moving into this match?
Well, I know Phonetap like really respects SilentStorm and how he plays, but he's comfortable with his lineup against him, so he thinks he has an edge in that aspect. And he said he was very lucky in Game 5, so he didn't think he was going to win. But now another rematch. I don't know.
No, we'll have to see. Well, let's take a look at the bracket from Group D from what we've seen so far. Of course, the off-stream matches. Life Coach took out the Rat 3-0. Phonetap took out SilentStorm 3-2. We saw the really intense winners match between Life Coach and Phonetap. And Life Coach was the first player to move on. And now we're going to move into the final match of the day, the final match of Group D, and the final match of group stages overall. Phonetap versus SilentStorm. The winner moves on to the playoff stage. They'll be the 8th and final person to make it there. And, of course, the loser is out of the tournament.
Yep, going to be the 8th elimination, the unfortunate person.
They had to wait around all day, watch all the other matches in the very last match. So Life Coach's fatigue play an important role in these matches.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, today I think it should be fine. I mean, we have like barely 8 p.m. So I mean, because of the organization and actually we also played like 2 games off stream. I guess you did like everything possible to actually prevent fatigue playing too big of an importance. So thank you very much for that too.
Yeah, wasn't my decision, but I will
take credit.
I'll take credit for it. Thank you. I'm the face. Easy. You know what, Life Coach? It was me personally. All right. Well, you can see these 2 players. SilentStorm not really needing much of a chance to sort of recharge. He's just going to jump right into the next matchup. Try and carry the momentum of the victory into the next one. So, we're actually going to jump right into it. All right. Well, SilentStorm's going to throw out the Warrior, and Phonetap's going to throw out the Hunter.
Yeah, we do see a Fiery War Axe. That's definitely going to be really good. Pretty good Hunter hand, though, too.
Yeah, Life Coach, you actually, in your match against Phonetap earlier, did you expect him to be heavily teching against weapons? With the Ooze and Harrison and his Druid and the Harrison Jones and his Hunter as well?
Well, I mean, generally I expected, like, because there's like this Grim Patron mania at the moment, and people are so afraid of this miracle deck, and I mean, that was actually like also how I actually picked all my decks. Like, I was expecting that everybody is so afraid of this Grim Patron Warrior that much more weapon hate will be played, but also like the 2 tech choices, the deck choices against Patron Warrior should be Control Warrior and Handlock. So I actually expect to see much more of these types. And actually, I mean, what we can see, for example, from SilentStorm, and he's doing exactly that, like Control Warrior, Handlock. Usually not like completely orthodox, but in this environment, it definitely makes a lot of sense to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Phonetap's debating between Haunted Creeper and Bow here. kind of wants to stay on curve, but Bo doesn't really do anything. This sets him up for a nice Houndmaster if SilentStorm doesn't axe it off. But with the Taskmaster, I think he's pretty likely to axe it off, yeah.
Yeah. Also because you prepared to proc the freezing trap already.
Right. The Hunter doesn't want him to proc the freezing with just a Taskmaster. He wants to get a lot more value out of that.
With a Harrison, the bow will really get ugly for the mid-range Hunter.
I think he's going to bow it off anyway.
But usually, like, Hunter won't break the bow,
yeah.
So Harrison will usually simply hit the bow for 2 charges for sure.
I think he might just settle for 1 now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure whether I liked it too much.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time proccing this freezing without not liking it.
I mean, with playing the Shredder, I mean, even if Phonetap would have attacked the Shredder, then you get like to proc the freezing trap for free and then Harrison for 2. So I actually don't like to play too much. Also, of course, spending the coin.
Yeah, it does make these turns a bit awkward. He had 2 6-drops that he could have coined out these next few turns.
Mm-hmm. Especially like Harrison, especially like Thorison too. So.
Yeah, so he's just going to get Harrison back, but that's probably never going to get value again. So pretty much as good as dead until later in the game. And the Hunter will get a Houndmaster value, but of course Savannah off the top is much better. And like you said, he spent the coin, so he can't do something like Shield Maiden coin Shield Slam, which would normally be pretty fine here.
Yeah, I guess Thorison should come down. And
yeah, just set up for later turns.
Yeah, I really pity with this hero. Like, I mean, it's just like hitting for 1. It's
So Boom on 7 is fine, but there's also kind of merit to Houndmaster. You don't really want to leave Emperor up, but you do want to hit him in the face.
Yeah, I guess you simply play Boom, right? I mean, what would you like?
It's turn 7.
It is turn 7. Yeah, he wants to Boom.
Or would it make yourself too much open against Brawl?
Yeah, I think that's the thought process here, is like he trades into your high main and brawls. So instead you could do something like taunt your Haunted Creeper and all face. You get more damage in that way. I don't think you're really setting it for lethal that way though.
And you're still vulnerable to Brawl, so I'm not sure. Hopefully it doesn't. Oh, that would be like BGH-able.
Yeah, this would be not good.
That's huge.
He's also baiting out the BGH for Dr. Boom. It paves the way.
Yeah.
he should trade now, I think, actually.
Yeah, of course.
If he's going to do that play, yep. Okay. But he traded really late in the turn, which suggests, I mean, the rope came and maybe hadn't thought entirely through. Happens a lot where you just have to go with the play that's in your head at that point.
Yeah.
And that was what was in his head. He Houndmastered it, realized, oh man, if he has BGH, and then he decided to trade. So he missed 8 damage, essentially.
Would you go here for like BGH for sure, right? And then Shield Maiden and Shield Slam, or like what's the play here?
He could execute instead of BGH, but I guess you don't really put your opponent on having Boom. Going for Shield Slam Execute though, actually, which turns out to be better, I'd say, since there is a Boom in his hand. So I don't know if this is like a sick read, or that's just kind of what he wanted to do with his mana that turn, rather. But turns out to be great. There's really not a great way through this Belcher. Yeah, I think I like Kill Command here. Because if you play Boom, you can't get through the Belcher. You miss so much damage. But yeah, the Warrior really came out on top of these last 2 turns.
Yeah. I mean, like this, you stay 3 mana inefficient, so it's also pretty silly.
There's a Brawl. Lots of armor gain. A BGH, a Brawl. I think SilentStorm's just going to be able to sustain through this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you got everything, and the Hunter is out of it, out of stuff.
And so card for card as the game goes on. Well, I don't know. He's drawing into his big threats.
Yeah, but now that Savannah Highmane's not as big of a deal because it's not like you're going to trade. So the Savannah Highmane's just going to get traded into and brawled away. And basically, as the hunter, you have the burden of killing your opponent. The warrior's just going to play defensively. And once you get through 2 Savannahs and a boom, it's like, what else is there?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, yeah, I think I like boom here, power here, though. Of course, you just have to go all face. And it's going to start the cleanup. Big game, the 7-7. And Despite seems actually pretty good.
Brawl?
He could brawl here, yeah.
And then whatever's left over,
whatever's left,
he can deal with easily. Even if Dr. Boom's left over,
right,
he can still brawl plus big game hunter. So I don't know if you're ever going to get much more brawl value than this.
Well, the only issue with brawl, okay, so let's say you don't brawl, you kill off some 2/2s, you BGH, and you probably like, you can either axe face or axe a 1/1. Either way, you leave him with 4 damage on board, as opposed to none, but then you leave yourself with none on board when you brawl, and you develop a Despite.
But that's pretty good, right? I mean, first killing the spider off, probably even attacking 1 boombot with the shield maiden before you brawl, right? Like this, you set up the best value for it.
Yeah.
Also denying like the boombot, at least 1 boombot, because the 5 damage on the hunter's face should not matter too much. Oh, actually, it isn't good.
Yeah, I like the no brawl here, but I would have liked to see Despite over the shield maiden, just to get the whirlwind out next turn. Yeah, because these 1/1s are just inefficient to clear with putting 5 and 4 damage into all of them when you could just be killing your opponent. And that's 18 he has.
I think these boombots, where they hit, is actually going to be a pretty big deal. Because if he does manage to deal with SilentStorm's board here, he doesn't have that much stuff in his hand. And Phonetap, I mean, he's starting to run out of cards. The cards that he does have aren't powerful besides Highmane. But if a Highmane comes out on the board and he doesn't have an answer, like he didn't develop the Despite last turn.
I might have liked to see a silence on that before he killed it. I don't know what else he's planning to silence. Who knows? I was thinking maybe this turn would probably be like, well, you almost certainly want to Unleash just to get value out of it, but you also want to play Highmane, and you also want to owl that off. And he's thinking he wants to max his Unleash, but he just killed off 2 minions before his Unleash.
Which is not the worst, right? I mean,
yeah, he could have gone in with the spiders instead, though, first. So I think that might have been a small mistake.
Okay.
He's going to trade a lot of damage away just to protect this Highmane. He traded 5 damage to protect a 6 damage minion.
Also interesting, yeah.
There's Grom.
I mean, I don't even know, like, he played the Hounds for 3, right? So he could have exactly as well quick-shotted anti-hero power. So he actually decided that quick-shot in the hand is worth more than Hounds and 2 damage. I'm not even sure whether that's correct, right?
He's running out of cards.
I liked Houndsing that turn. I just think he kind of spaced it wrong and also decided to trade for some reason. He valued that Highmane a lot. And when your opponent showed you last turn that they didn't have a great way of dealing with a lot of 1/1s and 2/1s, I think having 5 1/1s is really good because it's hard to clear.
Yeah.
Like, not a lot of warriors are playing just like Whirlwind. Besides, obviously, Patron, but...
Yeah. SilentStorm knows that he's going to be able to grind this game out, so he uses the Grom here just to sort of clear off the Highmane.
I mean, Phonetap's basically just playing into his hands, and he knows he has that Harrison.
Yeah.
But he has to play a bow because he has to quick shot. But his deck's out of threats, so this web spinner needs to get something insane.
Oh, actually, by the way, with your owl, you mentioned it before, like that the owl probably won't get more value out of it, and now he had to play it without any target. So.
Got no value. Basically saved him 6 health, which is essentially non-relevant.
And at the same time,
this has to be Harrison.
Yeah, it's also funny because the warrior wouldn't have had any cards left actually, like besides the weapons. Right?
Phonetap actually looked pretty upset about that Harrison. It looked like he had just kind of forgotten about it. Like, Yeah,
That's
he looks
not
surprised.
something that you should forget about.
Really, you
in
shouldn't.
a match like this.
Yeah, you should be used to your freezing traps. He's not too far off killing his opponent, but
Actually not. Yeah, true. But he should get his beast first. Like he should first take a look what. I mean, of course you sacrifice, or don't you like to sacrifice a web spinner just to get this card,
this
the
is
beast?
tough. Yeah.
I mean, you just don't spend a lot of mana, right? So you just want to get the beast, and I mean, not
Yeah.
the beast.
You just miss 1 damage is all, but
Is King Crush the best you can do here?
yeah, actually, actually, speaking of that, if you Lotheb, go all face, and get King Crush, that's not even lethal if he armors, but you're getting close.
And that's what's important.
Right.
It also seems like Phonetap is quite under pressure. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it's like he's not used to have like this major tournament, so you really can see like the pressure on him, especially in the decision match.
Yeah, every time he ends his turn, he just kind of shakes his head, like realizes the board state is not good for him, but he's making the plays.
King Crush, King Crush.
King Crush would be 1 off. Oh man.
What is it?
Mukla.
Mukla, what?
Nearly.
Well,
yeah,
if
he's
he-
almost there.
If he plays around King Crush.
Yeah.
I probably would have played the Sylvanas.
Yeah.
I mean, what amount of...
Wow, that's...
Yeah, he's got Brawl. That's the
Yeah.
main issue. So if the
still-
7/7 survives Brawl, is that game? It is, yeah.
After all that,
Okay, Phonetap has a 1 and 3 to win this game. Unless SilentStorm sees a different play. He's got a 2 and 3 to be in a decent spot as well. Because if the Houndmaster survives, you're taking your opponent to 3 health. He'll probably axe it off. And if you can draw some damage, quick shot, kill command. He already used both bows.
Would you like to try to fetch something with the Acolyte, or is
No, I think you're just banking on the Acolyte winning the Brawl.
yeah.
yeah.
If you,
Max your chances.
if you throw in the Acolyte to try and draw for something, it makes it so it's like a 50-50
Yeah,
for you
you
to
increase
lose.
your opponent's...
Absolutely.
Yeah, you increase your opponent's odds of winning by 17% flat.
I'm not saying you should do it.
Yeah.
I was just wondering.
Oh, wow.
Just wondering whether it's a consideration.
Wow.
Phonetap can't do anything but chuckle to himself. He hasn't been happy with this game at all.
Yeah, that is awful for Phonetap.
In the end, this armor up, by the way, nearly cost SilentStorm the game. Like what you talked about.
Yeah,
like,
the Sylvan. If he played Sylvanas, it plays around every beast except King
Yeah.
Crush.
Yeah.
He played around the one thing besides the other beasts. Like he didn't think like, oh yeah, he could just get a pretty valuable beast. Like Stranglethorn Tiger would have been insane.
Yeah.
Savannah Highmane. Like what do? You lose.
Yeah. I mean, this is also like SilentStorm actually armored up, but he didn't even have any board. So
Right.
it's like
Yeah, board is the most important thing at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, now it's just gonna be a slow grind out.
Funny thing is, Execute was the next draw. So even if he did throw in the Acolyte of Pain, he still would have come out on top.
Yeah, but
Sort of something that doesn't really matter,
it
but
would
it's
have been
kind
the
of
wrong
funny thing
play
to look
still.
at.
Absolutely.
So SilentStorm was correct in going for what he did.
Yeah.
I'm sure he thought about all the
Where's my
different odds.
sheet? Here it is.
You actually save this Animal Companion, I think. So if it rolls Huffer, you take your opponent to 3, they armor up to 5. So either way, it doesn't really matter if you top deck Kill Command.
Yeah.
You could play the Juggler. The downside is bombs. The upside is Quick Shot becomes better. Maybe also thinking of a potential Unleash top deck.
But that's good not to play anything, because like Armor Smith could bring...
Oh yeah. Armor Smith is actually a really important consideration,
That's true.
especially... Well, we know he has Deathbite Fire Rorax, but... yeah. So I really like that.
Yeah, it's
And
definitely good to play, which enables
he's
top
going to
decks.
go for the win, and it is. Yeah, got him.
All right. Well, SilentStorm is going to take game number 1.
Yeah, at the end there, actually, with Cruel Taskmaster, he should have attacked with the bots, but not the Boom and not the Acolyte yet, because he could have Cruel Tasked for 2 extra damage off the top.
Oh, yeah.
But he attacked with everything first. He trusted in those Boom bots. So
He was still in a great position, though. It's not like...
Well, he was dead to a top deck, though, actually.
That's true. Did he have kill commands left?
Yeah.
Okay.
One.
Fair enough.
And 1 Unleash, potentially. Probably not. A lot of decks have cut down to 1, but it's a small thing. Not going to rattle SilentStorm.
Yeah. But he finds a win with the Warrior, and he sort of lined up nicely there. He got the Control Warrior into the Hunter matchup.
Yeah, it's not that insane of a matchup. We did see it got really close, but even with a really sick draw, the Warrior draw lined up really well.
Yeah.
Just had all the answers.
Yeah.
I did like the discipline of SilentStorm holding onto the Brawl for so long, though. It ended up coming down to kind of a coin flip to win the game, but had he just used it on that one turn where it seemed like, oh, you know, I could Brawl away 7 minion, then basically wouldn't get value out of that big game Hunter ever.
Yeah.
And potentially lose to the next high main.
So, Life Coach, I want to get your thoughts on the Shaman pick from Phonetap here. He's one of the few players to bring Shaman, and it is the Mech Shaman. What are your thoughts on that deck?
Well, actually, I mean, Mech Shaman proved to be viable for sure. I mean, getting like top 10 places on ladder many times. And in general, it's quite a good decision to bring it if you expect a lot of hand locks. And this is probably what he expected. So I think it's just a tech choice and definitely viable. So if he actually manages to, or if he actually practices enough, it's definitely a good choice. But now we can also see the hand of him is just like silly, right? It's just like so perfect curve.
Yeah.
Would you keep Molten against Mech Shaman?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
But even the Sun Fury,
even
like
the Sun Fury,
yeah. If you like not simply the Sun Fury, but if you already got the Molten, you can simply keep him.
Because those 2 cards in combination are something that they usually can't afford to play around, so they play right into it.
Absolutely. I mean, usually against Mech Shaman, you are
already
still in burst range, but
he's already grabbing his 2-drop.
He knows that there's not going to be
happening.
a play.
But Hellfire comes pretty handy. Like,
yeah.
But probably too slow.
Wow.
Oh, look at that curve.
Perfect
Did
curve.
you ever see that? Well, like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with perfect drops, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
if you're
just
playing
silly.
Mech Shaman, that's what you want.
That's just silly.
Sounds like it's going to take a lot of damage.
That Ooze could potentially do something. I mean, it might be too fast at the start.
Yeah, and I mean, in this case, no burst, but there's the taunt missing, right?
Yeah, you kind of have to Hellfire here.
Oh, definitely, it's Hellfire.
Yeah. You go down to 13, your opponent's showing 3. That'll take you right into the Molten, but like we talked about keeping that Sun Fury, he has no taunt.
Now look at that, like if the Drake and Molten into taunt would have come down.
Well,
like,
he could have, yeah, the Watcher he could have taunted up, but Phonetap not going to attack.
Yeah, he plays around it because, I mean...
Right. You have to assume your opponent has taunt, and he actually top decked the taunt.
He doesn't want to sort of be locked out of the game
but
if he attacks him and plays a double Molten.
Yeah, so now he can take him lower. He can take him to 6. And, he can take him to 2.
That's pretty good.
And, yeah, that's going to be the play.
Now he top decks Burn.
Any burn spell, yeah. Fire Elemental, not next turn, but later in the game. I mean, looking at SilentStorm's hand, he has basically no way to win this game.
I mean, there's Molten and Taunt, so it's not...
Yeah, I think Belcher might even be the best play this turn, though.
Belcher? Oh,
yeah,
really?
Belcher and Molten.
Well, why should you not...
I guess you could taunt up too, yeah.
That's much better, I think.
Okay.
Also, it's pretty...
You're not dead to Earthshock, sure.
Ooh.
That could be a factor later in the game.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely going to get rid of that Drake. And probably hold the other turtle weapon. He can't really take 9.
He's actually sort of on a clock here.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
that 9 damage Molten Giant is going to start swinging at his face.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean...
And an Ooze is going to come down, actually.
Oh, yeah. That's a big deal.
Wow.
Whoa!
Another Molten. That's going to increase the clock a lot.
Yeah. It's down to one draw, right? It's just
pretty much
the second draw, or like game over.
And I think Mech Shaman, like, despite having so much burn in their deck, it isn't over half, right? So he's not
not
favored.
at all.
No,
maybe
absolutely.
what, one Lava Burst, 2 Crackles.
Like, suddenly the handlock's favored,
Yeah,
as long as he goes
huge.
face and just plays stuff.
Yeah,
And we just saw him kind of illustrate that. He's like, if I go face with this and this, he's dead.
that's super good.
And so this has to be
Wow.
exactly burn.
Wow.
Let's
Or
see
it
if he
could
can
be an
get
Earth
it.
Shock. It could be an Earth Shock.
There it
And
is!
that's burn.
Oh.
Wow! Phonetap.
Ooh.
Relief on his face.
Oh,
Yeah. It looks, yeah, relief
Wow.
is the
Yeah.
emotion right now.
Because he was so ahead. Like, he was like, I'm putting him to 2, just some burn. Come on, burn.
So he had brought double Fire Elemental, 2 Crackles, a Lava Burst maybe.
Earth
So
Shock.
probably like a 1 in 4, I'd say, to probably draw into that lethal, close to that.
Yeah.
With
Somewhere
20 cards
around
remaining.
there.
Yeah.
There's 1 mana off Ragnaros.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, but really exciting. Life Coach said it before. He looked really stressed in his first match. Every single turn, he was just like shaking his head, looking like he just wasn't really excited about the rest of the series.
yeah, this might be a really important win for him. Like, that might be what he considers to be his weakest deck.
Mhm.
And, I mean, based on his reactions, he seems to be a pretty emotional player. So, just getting a win kind of puts your head in a good place.
Yep.
1-1, now it's best of 3, essentially.
Yeah.
And maybe these are your 2 best decks that you have left.
So both players have Druid remaining, where Phonetap has Hunter and SilentStorm has Warlock.
Oh, that's in Phonetap's favor.
Yeah. So if you consider the mirror matchup sort of a wash, like they...
Well, Hunter's just favored against both.
Yeah, yeah.
And so...
yeah. I would probably. I mean, it's the mid-range hunter, right? So
Right.
mid-range hunter is probably.
And it's got
Break
the
even
double
against-
Houndmaster, which is pretty nice against Druid.
Oh yeah, against Druid for sure. Like
Yeah.
I completely agree, but I think against
Against
Handlock,
Handlock? Okay.
it's probably rather break even. Like
Sure.
I know,
Not
like
too favored.
yeah. Like the general perception is that Hunter is simply good against Handlock, but
Sure.
the slower Hunter gets, like, it can really swing around.
Okay. And then, of course, there's the mirror match of Druids. And I would say Druid also favored against Handlock.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like Phonetap definitely has the upper hand here for sure
yeah.
with the decks.
And so, just like he said, he thinks his decks are favored against Silent Storms. It kind of showed in the first match. He came out 3-2 on top. And he's hoping it shows in this match again.
It's also interesting that he kept the owl. I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, definitely, there's something to be considered. Like,
Yeah.
It's of course good against scientists and against Houndmaster buffed creatures and stuff like this. Just wondering whether you should keep it or not. It's really a close call.
Yeah, I wonder if that Ooze is the only golden card in Silent Storm stack.
He just wants to make sure you know
Every
that,
time he draws it, he's like, all right, got you.
just to remind himself.
Looks back at his hand, he's like, I have Ooze.
I know sometimes I put in tech cards like that, I forget that I have them, and then a Hunter plays a weapon and my
And
Ooze just sits in my
it's
hand.
just gleaming at you. Yeah.
But if it's golden,
Right.
But it's really interesting. Both players actually playing like oozes as tech choice, right?
Yeah,
like
we've seen
that's
quite a
just
few
so-
Oozes.
it's really crazy.
Yeah. It hasn't actually done that much.
No, I mean, of course not. It's ooze, right?
Bloodfin Ooze. So, he goes for the Juggler, which is the more aggressive play. It's good that he didn't get Huffer here, else he'd be really weak to Hellfire. He could have gone with Haunted Creeper last turn, going for more of a late game strategy. I mean, I think his strategy is definitely crouching on that high main coming out probably on turn 5 with the coin. Tends to be really good against Handlock. We do see double Molten, so
double Molten
a
Sunfury.
big choice.
But we also saw Phonetap actually playing around Molten Giants in general. So
Yeah,
that will
but even if he hero powers this turn, tap Molten Sunfury becomes available just with hero power.
oh, definitely.
So he'd have to pass.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. Like,
Wow.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you could expect it. I mean, why should he play like with
Right.
a shaman around them and suddenly not with a slower deck? It
Right.
wouldn't make any sense. And,
So pretty consistent with how he's been playing.
and it saves him actually. Like,
Yeah,
if
no
you would-
Belcher.
Yeah, Like, if he would have gone for it, then...
Yeah, you don't really want a heal bot. So it's just going to be a Molten for 5. I would probably play the one off the mulligan, because a lot of players keep track of what cards you kept, and especially against Handlock, if they have that card for a long time and you're a hunter, pretty obvious, you know, okay, that's probably a Molten. So, probably not a huge deal, especially with, you know, Phonetap seems to be much more concerned with his game.
He could have decided actually to get an additional card for 2 life. It's pretty risky, but on the other hand, it's not super risky. I mean, if you think about it.
He also has the other Molten, yeah.
Yeah, the other Molten, and also like 13 life means Phonetap must deal like 9 damage with 6 mana, and that's usually not the case. So I would have probably simply like sacrificed 2 life in order to get this 1+1 card, especially because you also got already the heal bot in the hand, right? So
so he's gonna unleash 1 Hound and go all face, putting him to 7.
Yeah.
And this probably won't work.
No, it won't work, but I mean,
it could, because I don't think we're going to see Healbot this. Well, we could see Healbot, yeah. If he goes for Taunt this turn, there is a small window of opportunity for Phonetap to top deck one of his 3 other burn spells.
Yeah, but it's super tiny, so... But I mean, I definitely agree with Phonetap here. I mean, he just has to go for it. I mean, there's no way that...
Yeah, you're definitely taking your opponent below 10. I might have just coined high main instead of unleashing for 1.
Yeah.
And hero powering. That would leave your opponent at 11.
Yeah, I agree. That's better, for sure. Yeah, because it just applies more pressure.
Right, and if your opponent... The worst part is if your opponent does have a way to not die, they get to start clocking you with the Moltens.
Oh, absolutely.
Or at least 1 Molten.
Ooh, he's even going for the heal, but that's super
interesting. Wait, why didn't he play the other Molten?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Whoa!
What's going on?
What? Is he next leveling us?
Well,
why would he hold back?
He's BMing us.
Wait.
I'm going to win this game without
he should have golden the Molten. He should have a golden Molten. That way he can't forget.
That's exactly what it is.
It's just like the ooze.
He was looking too much at the golden ooze.
What is going on?
It's like next level out-leveling Phonetap, because now Phonetap knows there's no Molten. If you bring SilentStorm to 10 and then SilentStorm shows the second Molten, then Phonetap is destroyed. Like,
but what does it do?
It would have been the same as if he played it.
I have no idea what's going on, guys. No, really not. Like, this is just too much for me. Like, I don't know.
SilentStorm's not really a player that shows much emotion, so even if
even if he made a mistake, we wouldn't know.
He would just be like, double Molten is for tryhards.
Well, that's a really important. That's a really important thing not to react to if it was a mistake, because that'd be a pretty obvious tell to Phonetap. Oh, I forgot to play my Molten.
Actually, these are good old times, good old Sunshine Hunter times. Look at that. Buzzard into Hounds.
We're reminiscing.
Yeah. I'm not saying he should do it.
Maybe he'll draw into one of his hunter's marks with that, just like the old times.
Yeah.
That's just beautiful. I mean, probably not this turn, but it will come. It will come.
All right. Well, is there any way for him to get past this?
I mean, he can Houndmaster. The unfortunate part about Houndmaster is it doesn't make anything survive against that Belcher. So, I mean, if you want to get through the Belcher, it involves Quick Shot, or it involves Unleash.
Yeah, but, I mean...
If you Unleash, you probably want a Buzzard. You probably need those cards. Is this the first time we're going to see a Buzzard Unleash in competitive play in 2015?
Yeah, but you still don't get around the Belcher. Perhaps you should just ignore it and just play the high main. Like, I don't see...
I could see that, too. Just like you... I'm really surprised you just never went for this high main.
And no Hounds.
Oh!
I mean, I can see the point.
Life Coach and I are devastated.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the point that he wants to destroy the Molten. I mean, it's definitely...
He's going to Freezing an Owl, which is not good for the Hunter.
I think both players are under a lot of pressure. Like,
a lot of pressure. It's getting late.
I'm just really curious if the Molten was intentional.
Well, we'll ask.
Because SilentStorm hasn't made many mistakes.
No.
Like, a lot of questionable plays are actually deliberate from him, and you can very clearly see a reasoning.
Yeah, but how could it ever be intentional?
Right, you need 8/8s to just start racing them.
Maybe he's holding on to it for potential Shadow Flame.
Nah.
It's the only
You
option
can
I can
Shadow
think.
Flame like an ooze.
I'm trying to find a reason.
The only would be
Thanks,
like Unleash.
TJ.
Like
Yeah.
Unleash would be the only reason, but even like
Second Unleash would be the reason.
yeah,
Which
but
he had.
even Knife Juggler Unleash, I mean, it doesn't deal 2 additional damage. It only deals 1 more
Right.
damage, so it's really not worth it, I think.
Timberwolf Unleash. That's why.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's definitely why.
Yeah.
But it's funny, right? I mean, only 1 owl and he would already win. Like, Phonetap would already win.
Yeah, he'd be extremely close, and he'd probably get there with a kill command next turn. And the high main finally comes down. I would have liked to see it a long time ago, but... And it's really important that this handlock get a win. We were talking about how it's, you know, okay against Hunter, not very good against Druid.
Yeah.
Whereas Druid versus Druid, pretty fine. Druid versus Hunter, not the greatest.
We do have to keep in mind, Phonetap, though, his Druid is heavily teched towards weapon classes,
Which won't help.
which won't help much unless there comes a situation where Jiraxis comes into play and
Well,
the game is super grindy.
If handlock wins, weapons are out of the question now.
Yeah.
But here's like now the time for the double giant, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
you
there's
just
a
put up
Molten Giant in my
bunch
hand?
of 8/8s.
double
With taunt.
giant, taunt. Okay, thank you. That's good.
Yeah.
And
And
both
that's
go
gonna
face,
clock
hopefully.
him.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure face.
And so wait,
It's super important.
top deck kill command
Anything.
would be it.
Yeah, anything. Top deck, anything. And also, like,
No.
I mean, Hunter would simply win if he could have somehow find a way to survive 1 more turn.
Yeah, but you'd have to kill 2 of the 8/8s, not just 1.
Now, you won't be able to do that, but
Yeah, you can't.
it's just like also really close because I mean he can deal 10 damage, so we're talking 1 turn here.
Right. He will kill 2 of the 8/8s, but now a lot of his win condition is out the window.
Yeah,
And yeah, it is correct to kill the Molten for freezing trap purposes. Not like that'll really come into play, but...
All right. We've got 12 damage on the board.
Well, probably Jiraxis kill off some of the stuff. And go face with the 8/8.
Yeah.
Probably kill off the 3/2, 2/3, or 2/2, and you can probably put your weapon into a 2/2. Maybe you don't.
Bring yourself down to 13.
Yeah,
you just
that
saw
should
him
be
use
safe.
so much burn. You saw him use a quick shot and a
Yeah,
kill
it takes
command.
the beast off the table. All he has is like potentially quick shot, kill command, hero power. That's only 10. Like Owl would make it 12 if you leave up a 2/2. So that should probably be it.
I don't know.
Go ahead, boom instead. I don't know why you would. Might as well heal for 3. Wait, could he die here to... No, I mean, in theory he could have died.
Yeah.
Owl, quick shot, kill command. Kill command would obviously be off the top because he would have done that last turn had he had 2.
Yep.
But just a small opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have also liked to attack the enemy because he wins next turn anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Well, SilentStorm goes up 2-1 in the series. He's 1 win away from taking that 2nd spot from Group D, making his way to the playoffs tomorrow. Phonetap once again looks a little bit stressed. He's got to win 2 games in a row now, because if he loses this next game, he's out of the tournament.
Yeah. And, I mean, he was really happy to be here, really excited for his first LAN event, but you definitely want to make a great showing in your first. Making it out of the groups would mean a lot to him, so this is pretty high-pressure stakes here. And he almost 3-0'd a Druid last match, but fell short at the end.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to try to 2-0 a Druid now.
So SilentStorm now just has the Druid remaining. So he's got to beat either the Druid of Phonetap or the Hunter. And of course, Phonetap is going to throw out the Hunter first because that is the more favorable matchup in that situation.
Leave the mirror for Game 5 if there is one.
There was some players like going through open and stuff. It's very rare, but some players pick the weaker decks first.
Yeah.
To save time, you know?
Save time, and then if you make it to that final match, you feel good.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'm favored now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also psychologically, it's bad for your opponent. Like if he knows, okay, I mean, if he was so close before the win, and then you came back with the underdog decks.
Right.
It really crushes you psychologically.
Right, because like let's say SilentStorm loses this match, he's like, okay, we have a mirror match. You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
But say he lost a mirror match, he'd be like,
oh no, now I got to face a Hunter.
I have to beat Hunter.
Exactly.
Right. So there's some merit. It's basically just psychological, like Life Coach said. I think you just do whatever works for you, and just try to play your best.
All right. Well, SilentStorm threw away his whole hand in search of
he does
Innervate,
play
Wild
Hunter's
Growth.
Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Innervate, no Wild Growth. And again, we see Phonetap already grabbing at that juggler.
Yeah.
Oh, the Druid answers are just so great. Like with the Wrath, double keeper.
This is going to get ridiculous. It's going to go Wrath into another juggler and a Coin Keeper.
Definitely.
So, Life Coach, you play a lot of Druid. I've seen most players today throw away the Shade as Druid against the Hunter. Do you agree with that play?
Oh, absolutely. I think the Shade is like a nice slot for your 3-mana slot, because 3 mana is actually pretty important, because you don't want to hero power. Like hero power is not only like quite weak in general, but also leaves you with 1 mana left. So you really need these 3 mana drops, but you don't Malik for them, of course. So first of all, your priority is to get like one of the Innervates or the Wild Growths. If you have like any of these cards, you don't need the Shade at all.
Yeah.
But if you actually miss these cards, the Shade can actually help you not to lose immediately. So that's actually the idea behind it. And what we see in Angry Chicken, we see Hunter's Mark and the
Chicken hype? Yeah.
I think that's the first chicken we've seen from a web spinner.
Probably.
Actually, did you like the Hunter's Mark on the Keeper? I
Yeah,
think
that was very interesting.
yeah, it's quite a weak target, right, against Druid.
Right.
Especially like if the Shredder comes down.
Right, like, assume he doesn't, you're going to see the Keeper into the 1-1, and then you can just trade into the 2-3 with your Shredder. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Exactly. And then you still got the Hunter's Mark
So
for
now,
Druid.
yeah. Well, I think one thing you might have been thinking was, if he trades in my 1-1, which he will, I won't really have a great activator for the Hunter's Mark in the future. So I should just kind of use it while I can.
Cash in.
Right, but it will be a little weaker once some taunts start coming out, like that Drew the Claw. Obviously, Sylvanas is just going to come out first. He's especially happy he drew that Force Nature to deal with any freezing trap.
Yeah.
And so we might see something like trade in Mad Scientist to get the freezing trap out, and then play high main, because you can't afford to not play high main this turn.
You can just send bows in, right? You should probably just send bows in, trade with the bow.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed with that.
yeah, definitely think that's by far the best.
So he traded the Shredder first, which is important, because that way he kind of knows if he can deal with that drop that Sylvanas steals. Worst case scenario, he could always just have it freezing trapped.
Yeah. Angry Chicken could end up being a good Houndmaster target.
That was what I was thinking going to turn 5. It would have been really nice, but
That's a very Angry Chicken.
yeah, that's like, what, 7/6 of stats for 5? That's not too bad.
I must safeguard them.
Yeah, Silent Shade, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just gonna silence it, and now Keeper's already threatening to get freezing trap back to his hand. I think you can't really respect that, though. You just have to. You're even gonna play the chicken and just smork him.
Yeah, but it's super close. Like it's a super close game actually.
Yeah.
Like because Hunter, I mean, as soon as Hunter is out of cards, that's it. But I mean, Druid is incredibly
Druid's
under
really
pressure.
low, yeah.
It's super low. So
Well, you definitely hear power.
I mean, next turn there will be Force of Nature into Shapeshift, but still the high main still. I mean, oh, he could handle the board actually. Yeah, so it's not that bad.
He can handle the board, but he's not taking initiative on it.
Yeah.
He's basically...
Now the Shade gets freezing trapped unless he
And how he just
Force
did
Natures.
kill command on Keeper. That's also.
Yeah.
Do you like?
I
don't
didn't
know,
like that
I would
too
have
much.
just like hero
You're
power.
so low on cards. You
Yeah.
really need to get
Hero
the
power,
value out of
yeah.
your hero power.
Absolutely. And also, like, I mean, kill commanding a 2/4 is really not what you want to
Yeah.
do in this situation.
Like,
I mean, it's really only about the life count.
You want him to proc the freezing trap is the thing. Because that gives
yeah.
you 3 extra damage.
Yeah.
Getting a 6 mana keeper when you're not like in a close game as far as board doesn't matter too much. It's not like you're ever going to need, you know, something to not get keepered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also like the 5 damage.
Oh, wow.
That's huge.
Wow.
That is one of, if not his best draw in his deck.
I think that is his best draw because...
You go face,
yeah.
you could kill off the BGH with your bow.
Yeah,
wow.
you will, right? I mean,
I think this game's over. Yeah, if you kill off the BGH with your bow, how can you lose? 9 mana swipe? Yeah, 9 mana swipe.
That was the only card that keeps Phonetap in the game, really, because this next turn
would have been huge for SilentStorm.
Yeah.
So it is.
And that's game.
No.
Wow.
No way he can swipe now.
Wow.
And so we will go to a game 5.
And that is super tilting if you're SilentStorm in that situation. That's the first time we've seen him show like any sort of emotion whatsoever.
I wasn't
He's really
watching
frustrated.
him. Was he?
Have enough math.
Yeah.
Wow. Fully unplayable hand at the end there.
All right. Well, it's only fitting for these guys. This is a rematch, of course. We talked about it earlier. Their last series earlier in the day that was played off stream went to game 5. And this series as well is going to come down to a game 5. And the game 5 is actually going to be Druid versus Druid. Winner moves on to the playoffs. Loser is out of the tournament.
Only a fitting matchup to decide your tournament ending. You're either going out off a Druid Mirror or you're going in on a Druid Mirror.
Whether or not they have wild growth is probably going to be
so
imprinted in their brain how this tournament went for them.
Ignoring Innervate and Wild Growth, Life Coach, you've played a lot of Druid Mirrors. Like, what are the keys for this?
For the Druid Mirror?
Yeah.
Well, usually, I mean, whoever gets the pressure off first, like, usually wins it. And, of course, Wild Growth helps tremendously because it just accelerates your complete turns throughout the whole game. So it's actually a card gives you like a 7-8 mana board advantage.
Right.
The only way actually to swing it down could be like if somebody plays Dr. Boom and then with BGH you can come back. It's really like this match is really like nearly only about tempo. Like really only about tempo. Like not much else, right? I mean there are no secret tech cards like in other classes, big AoEs or big turnaround cards, like game turnaround cards. There are simply none. So yeah.
So it's going to be all about aggression, keeping the board. Wild Growth helps a lot to do that, TJ.
Yeah.
It's just usually like you, as a Druid player, you just try to bring your opponent into combo range, and then they have to do crappy stuff. And as soon as they have to do crappy stuff, you simply win. Usually. Yeah.
Well, we see a Wild Growth on one of their sides.
I don't really actually know either.
Yeah, and that's the only card that gets capped.
Ooh.
And it's 2 Wild Growths.
Coin into Wild Growth. Are you kidding me?
I think that's Phonetap.
That is Phonetap.
Oh, wow.
He's got to be really happy about that.
No, absolutely.
So do you coin one of these Wild Growths?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just to start going?
I mean, that's not even close. Like, if you don't coin it, you're much slower.
Yeah,
so you just coin it, and it's so strong. I mean, even if your first to act double Wild Growth is not much better than 1, but second to act is just silly.
And
it's looking pretty grim for the Season 1 champion.
Yeah. I mean, SilentStorm, I mean, look at that hand.
We've seen a lot of good draws from SilentStorm, and this is not one of them.
No. I mean, on the other hand, there is no 5-drop, right? There's no 4-drop, so...
Phonetap not hitting his drops despite having the ramp. BGH would give him a perfect keeper target, though.
Yeah, never. You can never play the BGH.
Never play the BGH. Okay. Well,
of course not, right? I mean, there's
SilentStorm disagrees.
Oh no!
It looks
if you play the BGH,
Life Coach is just like distraught.
Serious? Okay.
What happens? He's thinking, what happens if he plays Druid of the Claw next turn? Like, does he have any way to deal with it?
He's trying to challenge the Druid of the Claw by going keeper plus BGH, and now Phonetap's kind of overthinking it. He's like, does he want me to keeper this? It's like, no, do it. Keeper it. Go.
Especially if he saw where he played the Molten Giant from in the other match.
The far left.
It was the far left. Why didn't he play it?
Yeah, I mentioned he should have played the one he kept.
Yeah.
Oh, Thaurissan is so huge.
Look
at that draw. Oh my god. Like, that's really one of the
only few draws that can keep him in this.
He's back in it.
No, I was just wondering also because of the because he knows that, of course, Druid and Phonetap Druid plays Dr. Boom. So it's really like the BGH. Like, that's one of the ways how you lose.
Already decided. He's like, well, if he has Boom, I guess I lose.
Yeah. It's really like this. Yeah. Oh, what?
You should,
what?
Yeah.
Takes a what?
I really would have liked to cycle Wrath there.
Wow. Oh, sorry. Okay. No.
Okay, so we're joined here with Live Coach, who's probably the person who has the most Druid games.
Played
in
a lot of
competitive
Druid.
play.
No, never mind.
Wow. And now, okay, well, he does have Big Game Hunter for when this boom will come out. Do you just like luring here? Just to force your opponent to trade?
Yeah. You can just.
Yeah, just want to get all those cards.
Phonetap's still in a great spot, though. He's got BGH for the Dr. Boom.
He's got BGH for the boom. Very important, or else this game would shift dramatically.
Does that play into your decision-making here? Do you might want to play the Sylvanas instead? Because
I think SilentStorm's in the state of mind where you're just like, yeah, he won't have it.
Yeah, but I mean, this is something you can really see. Like, for example, like with the Wrath, like Phonetap actually just made it because it looked like, from the first glance, as a possible play. I mean, of course, he just forfeited 4 life with his play, so he actually lost 4 life with his. Oh, wow, that's huge. But it seems for me like that, like no matter what, like he just wants that he gets over it very quickly. So like the match should be over, then the pressure is like not existent anymore.
Lore off the top's pretty good. I think he would have gone Sylvanas for sure if that hadn't been drawn. He's still considering it though, because he really needs to get. Yeah, he's trying to get pressure off of himself. But
and one keeper has already been played, right? So
so he's not really expecting the second one, and an Innervate draw.
Yeah,
gives him a lot of room to play around. Gonna Wrath it for 1. It's definitely gonna silence it. That's definitely happening.
Oh,
and that's a great draw.
That fits his curve nearly perfectly.
And he'll probably definitely trade here.
Yeah. What you can actually he's deshading. Yeah, that's like unstacking. But what you can see here, by the way, is also like Phonetap is on the edge of getting Flood again. And
this is 20 damage. If he top decks Savage Roar, that's game.
It's over. If he top decks it, it's over.
Oh no, but Lotheb is really good here. Lotheb might lock up the game.
Phonetap's in a position where he's
I could even see Force of Nature innervate Lotheb and just, like, you can clear the 5/5 or you can go all face.
Yeah.
You have so much damage. You're going to go for a clear, and he's definitely innervating that Lotheb and going all face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's super good.
And with 10 in hand, he's going to have 16 on board, kind of puts his hands up in a prayer motion. He thinks he has it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that should be it.
I don't think there's
16 on board. SilentStorm clearly has to heal, and that won't be enough.
Yeah.
And so the Season 1 champion going to be eliminated 3-2, 3-2.
He did not avenge you, Chalky. He took you out in the finals of Season 1 of the Legendary Series.
Oh, man.
I'm sure you're sad to see him go.
You know, it is kind of sad to see him lose, but I'm really happy for Phonetap.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can just tell, he's actually, like, he doesn't even know he's won yet.
Yeah.
He's still shaking his head, like, this means so much to him.
Yeah, especially since the last couple series for him have been super close.
Yeah.
Super down to the wire.
He's had 3 2s every set.
Yeah.
And that's it. He finds out he's going to win.
Wow. Alrighty, with the Force of Nature.
Look at that. Look at that.
I think Phonetap is our happiest winner yet.
Wow.
It's really cool to see a genuine reaction like that, though.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, there you have it. The Season 1 champion has been knocked out by Phonetap. He will join Life Coach and move on to the playoff stage from Group D. So ecstatic.
Yeah. Wow.
Someone might want to go check on him.
Yeah. SilentStorm looks pretty defeated. I don't think he, played too badly or anything. I agree with Phonetap that the matchups were definitely in his favor. So SilentStorm kind of came in at a small disadvantage. And the draws didn't really go in his favor in some of the matches. Really close sets because lost twice, 3-2 to Phonetap. So, you know, a bit sad for him to go, but really great to see Phonetap moving on.
Yeah. Life Coach, you think he's got a good chance moving on in the tournament?
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. I mean he qualified for that many tournaments. I guess like for him it's probably whether he gets his nervousness under control. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying he did a bad job, but I'm just saying I mean despite being that nervous, he of course played quite very well. Yeah. But I guess he could even be perform much better. Like if he could just shift this tension, like that he just says, okay, that's a tournament, but I have to get the best. I don't have to perform. And if he gets this under control, I'm sure like he will have good chances for sure.
He's got a day to recuperate. He's got a day to sort of relax and get himself in the zone.
Well, he has a night.
A night. Yeah.
We're playing tomorrow, TJ.
Well, yeah. It seems like a full day. I guess it depends where he plays in tomorrow. But yeah, it is going to be less than a full day for him to recuperate. But I think that's enough. He's got the experience under his belt now, being in the booth quite a bit now today. He played, what, nearly 10 matches in there? So
hard not to be pretty confident in yourself after you get out of groups.
Yeah. And SilentStorm, I mean, he can't be too upset about his performance either. He played well. He had a lot of close series today, and he won't be able to defend his title as the Legendary Series champion. But I'm sure he had a lot of fun.
We're going to crown a new champion.
Yeah, of course. All right, well, we do have Phonetap standing by on stage with Dan for our winner's interview.
Thank you so much, Azuma. I'm joined by the last player to go to the round of 8. Phonetap, you looked extremely emotional at the very end of that series. Just walk me through how you're feeling right now.
Oh man, it was like a repeat of just Life Coach. Yeah, Druid versus Druid again. You know, I had tech cards that ruined the mirror, but I drew the wild growths, and that made the difference. And I'm super happy I won. It's amazing. I can't believe it still.
Is there something more that's just the win itself and the glory of winning and being able to advance? Is there anything specific? Like, was there people that doubted you, or is there something that you wanted to prove to yourself?
I don't know if there were doubters or anything, but I really wanted to prove myself and advance, and this is just the first step, and hopefully we'll see what happens tomorrow, and I might be able to go away.
Sure, of course. How do you feel like you can calm yourself down? It looks like you were nervous at certain points. Is it hard to kind of soak things down? Because you are on a new team. This is the first tournament that you're appearing in. Is it starting to sink in a little bit, or do you think you'll not get used to this anytime soon?
Right now, I can't imagine me getting used to this, but this is, I'm trying to not sound awkward, but this is, man, I'm sorry.
Well, the crowd here is being very supportive of it, and thank you so much for everybody who's been supportive of Phonetap. You did a great job. Tomorrow, I don't know who you're exactly playing. I think it's the first place finisher from Group B, but we'll check in on that in the brackets. It's going to be Roger, actually, from Group C. So if you're going to be playing against Roger, how do you think your chances are going all the way here now that you defeated Season 1 champion?
Once again, Roger, that's a very tough opponent. He has decks that are pretty strong against mine. So I would have to hit the right matchups and once again draw pretty well. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see tomorrow how you're able to do. Congratulations again, Phonetap, and we'll see you tomorrow for date number 3. In the meantime, we're going to go over to casters for one last closing comments before we wrap up the show because we're done with Group D. Let's hear what they have to say.
Thank you very much, Dan, and thank you, and once again, congratulations to Phonetap. Very well played, and it's going to be a really fantastic day tomorrow. Life Coach, of course, we're going to be seeing more of you play throughout the round of 8 tomorrow. Are you looking forward to that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like everybody is like only strong players in the top 8, and it will be really tough. And I'm looking forward to it simply because of the challenge. I guess, like, of course, the chances to go through all the way through are pretty slim, but like trying always the best, and then just see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can take a look at the bracket, the schedule that we're going to be seeing tomorrow. That round of 8. Bracket. We'll start off the day with Demigod versus Domdis, 2 of the players that made it to that last chance. Then, of course, that matchup that Dan talked about, Roger versus Phonetap. And then we'll round off the day with the second half, Trump and Kit Kats, and then Raynad and Life Coach. And at the end of the day tomorrow, we will crown the Hearthstone Legendary Series Season 2 champion. So I'm really looking forward to a day filled with Hearthstone action tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. Should be pretty great. Really excited for this top 8.
Yeah. And of course, Life Coach, you're going to like this next bracket. We can take a look at the prizing structure for the Season 2 Legendary Series. And $10,000 goes to first place, and of course, 100 World Championship points. It gets less from there, but we have $25,000 worth of prizes and 200 plus World Championship points to give away. So it's going to be a really exciting day, and I'm looking forward to the culmination, to the ending of that Season 2 championships. And let us know what you guys think. Join in on the conversations. Tell us your favorite matches of the day. Follow us on Twitter at ESL Hearthstone. Use the hashtag HLS, and I'm sure we'll be joining in on those conversations after we get out of here later on. But it's been a really fun day. And you guys have any final thoughts before we send it back over to Dan?
Yeah, this event's just been awesome so far. Really excited to see how it ends, and can't wait for day 3.
Oh, good stuff.
Good stuff. Alrighty. Well, I think we have Dan standing by on the stage for some final comments.
That's right. We've had a lot of fun today, from the crazy finishes to the Osaka Reynad series to watching SilentStorm not be able to make it, but hopefully another player can succeed and worthy of that Dark Horse crown in Season 1. Or we got to see some of the old stalwarts like Life Coach continue his dominating run so far. Day 3 promises to be absolutely epic. I can't wait to see what's going to happen, as tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, we begin once again here at twitch.tv/ESL_Hearthstone to find out who will be our Season 2 champion, take home $10,000. I'd like to give a big shout out to Gigabyte and Plantronics for helping making this all possible. Make sure to check out all of our sponsors here at the ESL Studios in Burbank, California. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow for day number 3.